one of the ways to describe my son, because I thought about one word I could use and say that could encompass who he is, what he is, and why he is. And I think the word that came to me and resonated with me the most was courage.
I was always so happy. I was happy with the sun shining and Blockbuster on Friday nights and Boston Market, and I think I tried to create this whole world where I was so happy and making things so happy because where I was living was so dark. I created this whole world for myself that was completely opposite than the house was. Everything in the house was beige. There was no color. The couch was beige, the walls were beige, the table was glass. There was just no color in the whole house. I remember at times she would say, "You guys ready for breakfast? I'm gonna make you guys oatmeal." There's no color in oatmeal, it's just bland, it's just oatmeal. There was nothing to it. And that's why I started to find these crazy things that just make me happy, whether it be a video game or watching a movie. I was like big into like Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings because I would go into these worlds by myself in the room.
He always had people backing him up. He was such a lovable kid and a lovable young man that he always found people that wanted to help him. People, really, teachers, parents, really loved him. They gravitated toward him, and that you see that now when you look at him because it's very similar. People gravitate toward him still at 31 years old. He did have a lot of help and a lot of mentors because being a single mom, it was very hard. I had gone through a bad divorce. I had gone through an eating disorder myself. I had gone through some other very personal things, cancer, breast cancer. And he, went through some of those things, obviously with me as my son, because he was trying to get off to college. And a lot of these things were also happening in my life, and he was trying to start his life, and I was having all these setbacks. And so he felt torn, I know, with all of that. So a lot of that also played a part in his struggle as he tried to get into college football and where he wanted to be and being away from home and worrying about mom and, I'm not sure what the right step is and trying to make the right step. And so those struggles also, I know, were very difficult for him. But even though he went through those struggles, he went to Mount Union in Ohio, played a year there, then went to the Carolinas. The day that we got there, busted open his knee, we found out, we got the phone call that his ACL was torn and meniscus was, it was totally torn, everything was torn through. And I said, "Trevor, we have to go back." And he looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, "What are you talking about?" I said, "We have to go back, your knee's blown out." And it was on the cusp of his biggest opportunity. It was just, vanished, like within minutes of a phone call. So we came back, we had surgery, and it was a full year of recovery for him. And he did go back, but he never was quite right to play after that.
So being that, football was taking its course, and I was having some bit of bad luck, you would say. And I was like, you know what? I gotta find something to kind of bring up my energy and bring up my spirits. So I said, why not? Let's think about a brand. Of course, it had to be something to do with the teams because I was always such a big home team guy. I just thought to make a really bold, crazy t-shirt with a huge Florida on the front, put a flame on South Florida, on Miami and Broward. There's a huge flame. And I just knew that everybody was gonna love it. It was just gonna start the whole brand up. Of course, I trained that morning, and then, UD walks in, and anybody that knows UD knows that if here from down here, he wants to rep. He wants to rep the crib. So what a better way to start the brand with, Udonis Haslem, 3-time champion, wearing our first ever t-shirt that we created for One Home Team. Man, he put the shirt on. As soon as he saw it, he put the shirt on. And then he went to practice, and he wore that practice. And then after he wore that practice, he stood into the interview with it. It had the whole mural behind him of like LeBron and Wade and all the championship years. He was just talking on the mic. And that right there, I was able instantly to escape all the depression and all the anxiety and all the sadness. And the rest is history.
Everything seemed to be always against him, but yet he pushed forward. I mean, that's why I say courage, because it didn't matter what he faced. He never stopped believing. And I think that's why I admire his courage, because he never stopped believing. He knew that one day he was going to make it. Something was going to happen. He just had to keep pushing through. He just had to keep persevering. He just had to keep doing what he knew he was meant to do. Right. And so he did. He chose to take those disappointments that he'd gone through and turn them into a bigger picture, a greater force, which is what he's doing now.
I feel very comfortable, very happy in these worlds that I'm creating, whether it be my One Home Team thing with the clothing, which I love, the Home Team Fit thing with these kids, and we have all of our fun, and I intertwine learning and developing these young kids, these young boys into young men, into grown men one day as I become older and more established.
But he has such a strong character that he just learned from it. He grew from it. And with those challenges and with some of those letdowns and some of those disappointments, he rose, and he rose to bigger things. It takes a lot of courage to have a dream, to chase a dream for every day, for years, and do everything possible, and then some, and your dream still kind of not come true the way you expected it to come true, but yet still come out of that and be able to make so much more for yourself and your community and for people and for kids and for your family and for your friends. And that's what he's doing. And I give him, I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of the fact that not a lot of people could do that. Not a lot of people could rise above those disappointments and become better and become stronger and become wiser and become even more passionate and want to do so much more. That takes a special person to be able to do that. A very strong person. And like I said, just courage, and I would say he's probably one of the most courageous people I know.